I welcome you all on the sixth day of the week-long Yajna, Jagat Guru Bhagwan Sri Krishna Katha. The Yajmans for today are Dr. Dasu Sri Hari Rao ji and Sri Lokesh Malhotra ji. There are few Yajmans who have offered the seva but have preferred to do so anonymously. Our humble thanks to all the Yajmans, and we invoke Pujya Gurudev's and Swamiji's blessings on them and their families. Speaker for today is Swami Mitra Nandji. Due to his occupancy with other urgent seva as desired by the mission, Swamiji could not make it personally today for this talk. However, he has very kindly recorded his talk that we are going to share with you all now. But before that, I'll request Sri Som Oberoi ji, who is a mentor to the Executive Committee of Chinmaya Mission Gurugram, to formally introduce Pujya Swami Mitra Nandji. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Still not on. Oh. Hari Om, everybody. Really speaking, Swami Mitrananda ji does not need any introduction to Gurgaon Chinmaya devotees. As Swamiji had a 2 days talk session in Gurugram in April 2019. Yet, I would like to say a few words of introduction, largely for the benefit of the new devotees. Swami Mitrananda, a direct disciple of His Holiness Swami Chinmayananda, has been associated with Chinmaya mission from his young age. Swami Mitrananda is the mentor of Chinmaya mission Chennai. He is the national advisor for the All India Chinmaya Yuva Kendra. Swamiji is the publisher of Chinmaya Udghosh, an international youth magazine. Swamiji is the trustee of Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth, Chinmaya University in Kerala. He is the founder of Chinmaya Academy of Management and also the founder of Chinmaya Academy for Civil Services. Swamiji conceptualized Chinmaya Tarangani, a meditation park by the sea in Chennai. Swami Mitrananda, a creative writer, daring adventurer, and vigilant administrator, has traveled across 35 countries to impart the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and other Vedantic texts. Swami Mitrananda, as the name suggests, is a cherished Mitra, a blessed friend of all. He initiated the movement Youth Empowerment Program and has trained over 600 youngsters across the world to serve Indian knowledge traditions for 1 year in urban and rural parts of India. Swamiji's innovative methodology of teaching and logical interpretations of ancient Indian Hindu philosophy has made him very popular globally and mainly with the youth. Today, Swamiji's talk is Freedom of Arjuna. Hari Om.
My salutations to everybody. Namaskaram. Hari Om. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavitvaram. I appreciate the effort of Chinmaya Mission Gurudham in bringing out this talk series of different teachers of Chinmaya Mission. And the topic we are going to discuss today is freedom of Arjuna. Arjuna was very confident before the war started. In fact, few days before the war, Yudhishthir will go and talk to Arjuna, saying, Arjuna, are you sure that we can take this war? Because everything depends upon you. If you are confident, then we can go. If you are not, then let's not take this war at all. Because the victory depends upon you. So Arjuna said, it is our right. This kingdom is ours. We should take this. And he gave quite a lot of positive points to Yudhishthir, and Yudhishthir was confident. And they went ahead with the war. Just before entering the battlefield, Arjuna was confident, and in fact he tells Krishna, take my chariot to the middle of the battlefield. And that's not very important, saying take the chariot to the middle of the battlefield. But the way in which Arjuna addressed Krishna is very important. He calls Krishna here Achyuta. Hey Achyuta, Senayor Ubayor Madhye Ratam Stapaya, Hey Achyuta. Achyuta means one who is not fallen. One who has not fallen. That is very important. And that's how Arjuna addresses Krishna, saying, one who has not fallen. Fallen from his freedom. Fallen from his divinity. Fallen, Arjuna looks at Krishna as a firm man who is always balanced, who is ever cheerful, not fallen from divinity, not fallen from his balance of mind. Therefore, he looks and he says, Hey Achyuta, one who has not fallen. We also should be inspired by this name if we are seeking freedom. We should not slip down from our values. When we want certain ways of life, on values, we should learn not to compromise. So if we can hold on that way, then we also become Achyuta. So it's very important that we try and practice this particular name, Achyuta, one who has not fallen. How do we do it? It's impossible for us not to fall, because we go up, we come down, we go up, we come down, we keep falling. Like my Guru, Swami Chinmaya used to say, as Gurudev says, to fall is natural, but every time we fall, we should know to bounce back. We should know to rise back. Because it is natural to fall. People will fall here and there, they'll slip on this path, because this path itself is like walking on the razor's edge. So the journey to freedom is long, and we can fall many times, but we should know to bounce back. But how do we practice being Achyuta? Choose, let us say, 2 hours a day, and saying these 2 hours, anything which comes to me, I will not be disturbed. I will be an Achyuta. Just try. Not whole day would be difficult. But 2 hours, let us say we can. Come what may, any number of people can come and meet. I'll receive them with a smile. I'll interact with them, but I will not lose my balance. For 2 hours, I will not become Chuta. I will stay Achyuta. That way, if we can start practicing, let's say from today onwards, 2 hours every day, slowly the 2 hours will start expanding. And a day may come where 6 to 12 hours we will be Achyuta. Then it becomes a habit. Then naturally we glide into that. So Arjuna is calling Krishna, hey Achyuta, man who has not fallen, who has not come down, who stays in that. In fact, in the second chapter, Sanjaya reports to Dhritarashtra, he says, Arjuna has fallen down, confused, his bow, and his hand is shivering, is not able to hold the grip. Everything is lost and he surrenders. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. He surrenders to Krishna. At that time, in the war between both the armies, the main player who you depend upon for victory of dharma has collapsed psychologically, refuses to fight the war. Even at that time, Krishna did not lose his smile. Sanjaya says to Dhritarashtra, this man, prahasaniva bharata, he is smiling. Imagine a war where you are not sure of your return. Two armies have gathered and your main player has collapsed and wanted to run away from the battlefield. At that time too, Krishna did not lose his smile. He stayed smiling. That is freedom. Arjuna saw that, saying, the man in front of me is a person of that brilliance. And that's why he called him Achyuta. And then the whole thing starts, hey Achyuta, you are that. But now I have gone, I have lost myself. I can't fight this war, etc., etc. And he collapses. To that Arjuna, who is seeking freedom, landed in absolute despondency. Completely depressed, all hopes gone, tired completely, beaten out completely. And to him, Krishna gives knowledge and recovers. So in our discussion, we will see there are 700 verses to freedom. We will take one or two verses which we can apply in our life and see how quickly we can become free. In the second chapter, Sthita Prajna Lakshana, the characteristics of a wise man, characteristics of a person who has attained freedom. What are the characteristics? Arjuna puts few questions and Krishna answers. In that we will take one verse. The verse is, Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha, Sukeshu vigata sprihaha, Vitaraga bhaya krodaha, Stitadir muniruchyate. Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha. He whose mind is not shaken up by adversity. Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha. When we live in the world, challenges will come. And they will come in plenty. Difficult situations will come. We would have to face problems. Because challenges, problems, difficulties, we feel fine with life. If everything is always smooth, then we will not be very comfortable. Life would be too boring. These are required. So once we understand that challenges will come, but we should not break down. Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha. He whose mind is not shaken up in adversity. Freedom. A mind which is not disturbed by adversity. Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha. Sukeshu vigata sprihaha. Who in prosperity does not hanker after pleasure. When everything is fine, he doesn't hanker, he wants it more. No. Pleasure, lovely things have come, wonderful. Take them for what they are. Don't keep craving for more and more. Let's take for what it is and be happy with it. Kind of a contentment on what is received. Not demanding more, not craving more for pleasure. Pleasure has come, wonderful, it is nice. Don't crave for more. Dukkeshu anudvigna manaha, sukeshu vigata sprihaha. This disease of wanting more and more and more is what makes us unhappy. We become unhappy because this is never ending. And we very conveniently forget what we have already received. Each one of us have to think how much we are already blessed in life. How much of Lord's blessing is there in us? How many moments we have been happy? So if we can remember what we have achieved, if we can remember what we are blessed with, then we will not be sad. But you know what happens? We simply forget what we have achieved and we only remember what we are missing. When the mind is focused on what is missing, we would be unhappy. If the mind understands what it has received in life already, what are the blessings, the mind can never be unhappy. Start looking at things achieved. Remember them more than what you have missed. Most of us would instantly be happy, instantly be content. And then when something nice comes, we will not crave for more, saying, thank you. God, you have given one more opportunity to laugh and smile and to be happy, thank you. And if challenges come, with the same humility, we say, thank you, God, for the challenges, because you have given me the strength. I do have to take it up. Not disturbed in adversity, not craving for pleasure at prosperity. And what is freedom? Krishna says, Vita, Raga Bhaya Krodha. He who is free from attachment, fear and anger is called Stitadir Munir Uchate. Muni means a person who constantly contemplates. Manana Shilavan. That one who has heard, Shravan, on Shravan he goes on contemplating and establishes himself in contemplation. Understanding from Shravana is superficial. The same words understood through contemplation is deep. So he who knows to contemplate is called a Muni. One who has heard the words is Shravana. But on what one has heard, one goes on contemplating, then he becomes Muni. Stitadir Muni Ruchate. Such a person is called a Muni who Vita becomes free from Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. Raga, attachment. Freedom from attachment. Bhaya, freedom from fear. Krodha, freedom from anger. Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. Attachment means what? Gurudev says so beautifully, attachment means I plus I want. What happens in attachment? Gurudev says, we willingly surrender our freedom and become a dependent. And after that, without it, we can't live. If it is taken away or if it is threatened to be taken away, we feel insecure, we feel restless, we are unhappy. If something is given and we have taken it on the value of it, then there is no issue. But what happens to us is when something comes, we hold on to it. If we don't have it, we hold on to it. Have it, no problem, it will go away. Hold on to it, when it goes away, we'll be unhappy. To have and not to hold is free from attachment. So whatever we have got, don't hold on to it mentally. Take it as prasad of the Lord. The Lord has given it to you. Let Him take it away whenever He wants. If we become free that way, then there's a great life ahead for us. Conquer attachment at the earliest. How? How do I conquer attachment? Because who is a Muni? Who is free from Raga, Bhaya, Krodha, attachment, fear and anger? That person is free. He is Muni, he is wise man, he has reached his destination. So how do I become free from Raga? Don't attach yourself to anything in the world. World is a beautiful playground. Go there, play the game of life. Cherish, enjoy, play as you like. but understand it is a play. Don't hold on to it. It is only a playground meant to be played, but not seeking something permanent here. And the world is created, the Lord has created that everything in this world will change. Nothing will remain same. It is bound to change. Agama payino anityaha tanti tikshasva bharata. Hey Bharata, hey Arjuna, everything in this world is created to be only for a while. Anityaha, impermanent. Therefore, do we have a choice? When I have to go and be in the world, the worldly experience around me are created to be anitya, impermanent. When the world is created to be around me, is to be impermanent, I cannot expect something to be permanent there. On an impermanent world, I want permanent, I want to hold on to certain things permanently. I am fighting against nature. It is designed to fail. It won't work. So we should understand that everything around me will change. It's not going to be the same. It is not permanent. Then the wise man will not be attached to it. But then what does the wise man do? He has it, he plays with it, happily playing around. You will never see such people disturbed, ever smiling, just like Krishna, prahasaniva, ever smiling. My guru was like that. Always smiling, never disturbed, never helpless, no despondency, no depression. And he had loads of work, but didn't give up, could never be disturbed. I remember I was very, very fortunate to be with him. This happened in our Powai ashram when we were studying as brahmacharis there, Vedanta students. Those days, early 90s, 89, 90, this incident was. And there was no email, nor even mobile phones, nor internet. All you have to do is letters, telegram, trunk calls. These were the modes of communication those days. So suddenly Gurudev's program changed somewhere in the States. He has to send a telegram to the team of the organizers saying, dates have changed, something has to be altered. So he called one of the guys in the ashram and said, listen, this telegram has to go immediately, send it. And naturally, he saw him in the evening, afternoon time. Morning, he told him. Saw him somewhere in the afternoon time and asked him, what happened? I asked you to send a telegram, did you send? Now the other guy, looking at Gurudev, he said, don't worry, Swamiji, it will be done. Now Gurudev stopped for a while, said, come here. You, come here. And all of us were looking. There was a kind of a silence in the room, absolutely quiet. And this person, Swamiji, is just looking at him, didn't take his eyes off, and he said, come here. So he came closer, and Gurudev said, look at my face. You have seen me worried? Have you seen me worried? What a question to ask. Have you seen me worried? Don't worry, Swamiji, it will be done. He thought he's talking to one of us. How we speak to each other. You can't talk that to a master. Don't worry. So he looked and he said, have you seen me worried? With what authority he was saying that? Man of experience. Never worried. Why? Because he was never attached to anything. Not even to the organization he started. He used this organization as a tool. He had a great vision of evolving people, rising human consciousness, and revival of Hindu culture, Sanatan Dharma, renaissance of Sanatan Dharma, and evolution of human. That was his goal. Organization was only a tool, and he played with it, not attached once for it, completely detached. Raga, overcoming. That is freedom. And another occasion I was present, this was in Coimbatore, in one Chandrasekhara Warriors. He used to host Gurudham, and fortunately I was there that day. And somebody who came to visit him was asking, saying, Swamiji, this organization which you have started is expanding. It is crossing countries, it has gone to different continents. In India, it is expanding. So many schools are coming up, and ashrams are coming up, temples are coming up. Who will take care of it after you? This level of expansion, I think you need to control. Who will take care of it after you? He laughed. He said, let me tell you something. You are asking what will happen to this organization after me. I don't care what happens to it when I am there. After me is a long journey. I don't care for it when I am there. And then he extended one more in his typical witty way of saying. He said, it came because of his will. When his will wants it off, it will happen. If I saw it coming down in my lifetime, I will stand there and whistle, watching it come down, the organization. That is the level of detachment the master had. He was a rishi, not attached to anything. When we are not attached to anything, and understanding these things around me are a game, it's only a play, let me play without holding on to them. Let me play because I'm playing in a zone of impermanency. Let me play as I want, but not holding on to anything. Then we enjoy freedom. So how do I practice detachment? Very simple. First, you have to understand nothing is going to stay. Whether you hold on or you don't hold on, it will change. It will be gone. Things will be snatched away from us, whether we like it or not. Whether we want it or not, that is going to happen. So when I know it is going to happen, let me drop it mentally. When you drop, it doesn't pain. When it is snatched away, it hurts. So how do I drop? Understanding that this is not going to be. I mentally detach myself. I am allowed only to have and not to hold. Have it, don't hold it. This is the way. And this attachment, let us conquer as early as possible. So every day, try to practice. How do I practice? Consciously that nothing is going to stay. And things which you have deeply attached, make a list. And things which you have, it is with you, but not attached, make a list. 2 lists you have to make. Things you have and not attached. Things you have and you are attached. Make 2 lists. And then analyze for yourself. These are the things I have, but I am not attached. These are the things I have and I am deeply attached. Slowly shift this to here. Things you are deeply attached, start moving it to the things which you have and you are not attached. In life, all of us have. We have so many things, but we are not attached to it. Same idea we should use for everything. Don't become helplessly dependent. Attachment is willingly surrendering our freedom. Let us not be a victim and be a dependent in life. Let us seek absolute freedom. Freedom which Arjuna gained in the end. Started with dependent, despondency, depression, and then went into highest level of detachment and got into freedom.
And the second point is overcoming fear. Freedom from fear. Raga Bhaya. If we live in fear, it is life of a slavery. And we can never be happy. We have to overcome fear. Some are scared of life. Some are scared of death. And there are many who are scared of both. What is the use of living life with such kind of fear? And if you look at all our gods and great kings, great heroes, they have overcome, they had this particular thing, they have conquered fear. We must overcome fear. Most of the time, the fear is born out of imagination, false imagination. Far from reality, we imagine. A problem is a problem only when it has a solution. If it has no solution, it is a fact. So that which is a fact over which we should not try and find a solution. Accepting is the solution. Death is a fact. It can come anytime. So we can't find a solution for death. It will come. How I accept death is the solution. Because that's a fact. Like that, we should have clarity. What are facts and what are problems? If it is a problem, there is a solution we can do. If it is a fact, then I have to accept it. We need strength to live life. If we develop that strength, fear will go away. How do we develop this strength so that fear drops off? Strength is cultivated by living life of values. If we have certain values and we have the determination not to compromise on the values, we become strong. A strong person has only situations in life, not problems. A weak person looks at even a situation as a problem. So to be strong is very important. Only those people live life well. So cultivate values which can help us to overcome fear. First point, false imagination. Control your imagination. Analyze, is it a fact or is it a problem? Analyze. Avoid a false imagination. Wrong imagination goes on and on and on, and that generates a lot of fear. Second point, live life of values. Hold on to values, we will become strong. When we have strength, it becomes easy. Third point, to cultivate courage, to be fearless, read books of people who have responded to life fearlessly. I was reading long back a beautiful book by Swami Ramatirtha, who was a contemporary of Vivekananda. His volumes of books are called In the Woods of God Realization. Beautiful title, In the Woods of God Realization. There he talks about Alexander. When Alexander came to India, he conquered, he arrested, imprisoned few sannyasis. And when he was talking to the sannyasis, because they were free walking people, least bothered about anything, no fear. So they didn't follow the protocol which he wanted from everyone, bowing to them and saluting them, which he didn't do it. The sannyasis didn't do. So he put them all in prison, few of them together. And then he said, I can cut you with my sword. How dare you behave like this to me? The sannyasis had a hearty laugh. Imagine the king who thought he is the conqueror of the world saying that, and these guys were laughing. He said, don't amuse us further. Your sword cannot cut us. At the most you can chop the body. I am the eternal self, always free. He couldn't understand. And then he said, ask anything you want, I'll give you. So that, like he felt that he gave something. Ask anything you want. And one of the sannyasis sitting in the jail laughed again and he said, we don't take anything from slaves. So don't. He says, what do you mean slave? He said, you are not a slave. You are a slave of my slave. Imagine the sannyasi telling him, the mendicant, wandering mendicant, saying, you are a slave of my slave. Alexander said, what? He said, I have conquered fear. Fear is my slave. And you are a slave of fear. You have still not conquered fear. This is the conversation. Imagine being locked up in a jail, the man has the guts to speak to that time the most powerful man on earth. Fearless. Reading literature of great people, how they responded, increases our vision to respond better. So reading healthy literature would always be good. I have been with my guru from my childhood, from Balvihar onwards, and till I finished the Vedanta course. In all my interactions, what I've seen Gurudev from childhood to late 20s of my life, 20 years, 25 years, not once I have seen him scared. Not once. Not once I have seen him in fear. Fearless he was. It is outstanding. It shines out. When he walks around, you can see how this man was fearless. And the best part is, if we are around him, somewhere it becomes contagious. It rubs into us. For that few moments also, we feel fearless. That's the presence of the Mahatma. Absolutely fearless. I heard this from our members in Trichur, that once he was visiting a temple in Trichur and few members were there. And in Kerala, most of the temples will have a temple elephant, an elephant in the temple. And people will go feed the elephant and the elephant will bless. It's an old faith we have, and we like that kind of a thing. So one elephant suddenly let itself loose, came running. Everybody around Gurudev ran away. All ran away because it was coming, charging. And it stopped in front of Gurudev. By then the people, the Mahot, etc. came and were trying to control. And then when all people gathered back, Gurudev smiled, looked at all of them, and he said, Brahmana santu nirbhayaha. Wise man has no fear. Evolved thinker has no fear. Why should we live in fear? Let's overcome that. Let's overcome attachment by knowing everything is impermanent and no point attaching to it. Play as you like. Have but do not hold. Overcome fear. Reading literature, how wise people responded, number one. Number two, false imagination. Number three, living life values. This will help us to become fearless. Imagine rest of our life, whatever age we are, if we can overcome fear, how life would be, rest of our life. Then we truly live. Then our potential comes out into manifestation. It comes into performance if we overcome fear. Hold on to values. Hold on to Satya and Dharma. That will help us to overcome fear. Freedom from fear is important. And if we have no attachment, fear naturally drops off. They're connected. If by overcoming attachment, very easily fear will drop off. That's why Bhartrahari, a king who was once an indulgent in all kinds of pleasure, after experiencing life in various forms, he took up to sannyas, and then he wrote a book called Vairagya Shatakam. 100 verses on Vairagya. In that one line he says, Vairagyam eva abhayam. That person who's got this dispassion, this detachment, he alone will live here fearlessly. Don't live life with fear. Don't even fear failures. If Gurudev feared failures, you think Gurudev would have done this much of work? He never cared. If his work brought success or not, he never cared. He went around what he felt, he lived, he blasted it out fully. His potential was brought out. Never scared. Don't even worry about failure. There is nothing wrong in failing. Imagination of failure, many people don't even start. Imagining failure, they don't take up a plunge. Don't worry. So what if we fail a couple of times? In the long journey, to freedom, couple of failures makes no sense. It makes nothing, it's nothing, hardly anything. So don't worry about failure. Even if I fail, nothing wrong. Don't worry about others judging you. Hold on to Satya and Dharma, live. Don't bother about others' opinion. Don't have that fear. There are people who are scared even to speak sometime. What will others say? Will my opinion be accepted? Or will my opinion be rejected? Don't worry, don't fear rejection. You are here to live your life. It is your life and you live to its best. Why waste time about what others around you think? If you drop this idea of fear of failure, you will live life much better. Let us attempt that. So let's overcome fear, freedom from fear. Arjuna wanted. He started with bondage but went towards bliss. Started with bondage, attached, my people, how can I kill my guru? How can I kill my grandfather? My people. And then he moved from there. He overcome attachment, he crossed fear. Fearless Arjuna became. And the third point is anger. Vita, become free from raga, bhaya, krodha. Third point is anger. Anger is an expression of an obstacle coming between you and your desired object. When you desire something and it doesn't go the way in which you have desired, anger comes in between. So it is an obstacle between you and your desired object. That is the expression of anger. As long as desires are there, anger will be there. Because as long as desires are there, attachment is there. And naturally anger will be there. Now, this is difficult. To overcome desire, not easy for a beginner. Over a long period of time, desires just drop. You don't have any desire after a point of time. But at early stages, to fight a desire is hard. So to drop anger would look impossible. Maybe many people can suppress anger. But remember, anger is an expression which comes when there is an obstacle between you and your desired object. As long as desires are there, anger would be there. Then how do we overcome anger? Please understand. Suppressing anger is not good for you. Expressing anger is not good for the people around you. They feel bad. So when you suppress, it hurts you, your health. When you express, people around you feel bad. So what should I do? Express. Express. But after expression, if you were wrong, go apologize. If you were right, forgive that person, extend your hand saying, let's continue, that was one time. Let's continue as we are. So this response after is very important. Anger would come because there's a desire and obstacle, anger would come. But how I respond after that is very important. Be a sport. If you are mistake, if you are cause for it, you are wrong, just go straight, apologize. That would help. If you are right, be a sport and saying, it happened, I was angry, that incident is over, I have forgotten, I have forgiven, let's continue. Don't commit this mistake once again. Extend. So when this mind is set, the anger which comes from this kind of a heart, which is not actually angry but trying to rectify, things, correct mistakes, that anger is harmless. Whenever my guru got angry on me, it never hurt me. Because I know his anger is interested, he is interested in my growth. It comes from love, it doesn't come from hatred. So modify, channelize the anger first, let it come from love. Let it come from friendliness. Let it come from other person's well-being, for other person's well-being. not from hatred. Anger towards hatred, anger born out of hatred is dangerous. It is like an ulcer, cancer. It will eat the person more and it will destroy. So our anger should come, but it should come from this emotion, well-being of the other person, for other person's sake. It should come from concern. It should come from love. When your mother gets angry, you're not hurt, because you know the anger comes from love. When your father is angry at you, you know it is not from hatred. It is from love. It is in your interest, in your well-being. So we should express anger with this quality. And after that, extend. And Gurudev used to tell, because in this world where we live, sometimes anger is necessary. People don't understand correct language. People don't understand sattvic instructions. When they are tamasic, the instruction has to be said in a way which a tamas only understands. So the tone has to change, the language has to change. So Gurudev used to say, express anger just like flashing. Your camera you flash, no? That way. Show anger, but don't be angry. Demonstrate anger, but don't be angry. I have seen this in my master. He would demonstrate anger, and next moment he would be like a child. This happened once in Bombay, Powai Ashram. A particular brahmachari has told them to do some work, and that guy didn't do. He has asked him to report to a particular place. The guy didn't report. He ignored, and he was standing there. Gurudev's car came. He opened the car, and there are, at his time itself, there were 200 plus brahmachari sannyasis. You know, like you can't remember everybody's name unless you have a little longer association. So he held that guy's shirt and he said, "What's his name? What is this name?" So that person said, "This is my name." And he knew this is the guy he has told him to do and he has not done. Really gave it hard. The brahmachari was shivering. Full flow of anger, and it is a sight to see. Because nothing holding back, he's just flowing out. 1 second, 1 moment, second would be longer. 1 moment later, there was a child. She was smiling at Gurudev and giving a flower, a bouquet of flowers. The way in which he took baby and the way in which he hugged her with the flowers, within a second, the anger is gone to absolute love and compassion. Next moment. Means he was never angry. He demonstrated anger. Because some people will understand that language only. So whenever it is required, show anger. Don't be angry. There's a difference, and you know honestly. When you know you're showing anger is completely different, and when you are angry, it is completely different. Start showing anger. And the last point to overcome anger, freedom from anger, is be angry on the incident, not on the person. Issue-based anger. Don't extend it to the person. Let it be on the issue. Issue-based anger. On that particular situation, on that incident, on that issue, you were angry. Not to the person. Anger towards the person is bad. That means we are making an opinion on that person forever. This aspect in that person I don't like. This issue in that person I don't like. Otherwise the rest I adore. This I don't like. Therefore the anger should be issue-based, not person-based. So issue-based anger, if we do, the frequency of getting angry will become less. If it is person-based, it gets into hatred. If it is issue-based, it comes out of a concern of developing, growth, well-being, improvement. It comes from there. No, if it is anger born out of hatred, then it is personal. Then it is vendetta. It is vengeance. It goes on multiplying. So let us do issue-based anger, not person-based. If we can practice issue-based anger, the frequency of getting angry reduces. Earlier in a day, if you were getting angry 10 times, now when you're practicing issue-based anger, probably you will be angry for 6 times. Then the 6 may come down to 2. So you've reduced. And the frequency of getting angry also changes. It gets extended. Then slowly, rarely you get angry. And after a point of time, one can feel, today I have conquered anger. You know it. But that's a long run. So what do we do? Keep it issue-based. Express it, go apologize. Express it and be a sport. Drop it, forget it. It is over. Don't drag it further. And when it is required, demonstrate it. Because that is important. This way, if we practice, anger comes down. I'll tell you something very hilarious. This again, one of our devotees in Chennai went to Gurudham and said, Swamiji, I have a bad temper. No matter what I do, this temper is bad. It destroys peace at family. It destroys peace with my friends. And this temper is really bad. I'm not able to control. Tell me something, because I've been listening to your lectures. That is not working. Now you go to Gurudham and say, I've been listening to your lectures. That is not working. Tell me something else. So Gurudev looked at him and he said, will you follow what I say? You will overcome anger fast. Will you follow? This temper will go. Will you follow? He says, so I give you my word, I will follow. He said, okay. If you get angry today, tomorrow morning, the first person whom you meet early morning when you get up, you must prostrate to that person and ask for forgiveness, whoever that person may be. It may not even be the person on whom you were angry. It could be anybody. First thing, you have to get up in the morning and do namaskar, prostrate to that person and say, I'm sorry. Will you do it? He was thinking for a while and naturally he gave his word. He said, I'll do it. Now you never know who you're going to meet next morning. Imagine you get up and you look at your wife and you have to prostrate to her and say, I'm sorry. That's not going to be easy. Imagine you get up and you have to see your child. And suddenly you go and prostrate to your child. What will your child do? And then you're going to say, I'm sorry. And you're not going to give explanation. The child will think, what did my father do? That he's falling at my feet for apology. Imagine doing it to your wife, or wife doing it to the husband, or to your children. Not easy. Imagine if it is the maid, is the first person you see on waking up. You prostrate to her. Now imagine. Not going to be easy. And then you say, I'm sorry. And in this man's case, it was the milkmaid. The lady who brings milk in the morning. She was knocking the bell and left the milk and he saw her. Now he remembered, I got angry last night. Now I have to prostrate. I have given my word to my guru. And he prostrated to her and said, I am sorry. And the neighbors also saw that. Now imagine speculation. Now imagine what all will go on and what that milk lady will think. She can't understand and she'll think this guy is crazy. Imagine how embarrassing that is. Absolutely embarrassing. Next time you get angry, you have to go through the same drill. That embarrassment will stop you getting angry. You say, no. If I get angry, I have given my word to my guru. I need to go do this. No. So you will learn to keep it under control. So this is a crude method, but the easiest would be like issue-based anger. Be a sport. Forgive. And if you get angry at somebody, include them in your prayer that night. This is working well. You got angry at X, Y, Z. Include their well-being in your prayer. Spend 5 minutes only praying for them, for their well-being. This way, we will cross hatred. Advaishta sarvabhutanam, Mitra karuna evacha. Krishna teaches Arjuna not to have hatred towards anybody, not to have anger towards anybody, but in a war you have to shoot that person, shoot. But let that not be from hatred, adveshta, or from anger. Without anger, without hatred, shoot. This is the mindset in which one has to be in the war. Now you understand the freedom of a soldier in the war. He's shooting people like a killing machine, but there is no hatred. There is no anger. Fight. That's the way to live life. Freedom of Arjuna is this: becoming free from raga, bhaya, krodha, attachment, fear and anger. Now, the last point which I want to say is, after teaching all this to Arjuna, from chapter 1 when Arjuna collapsed, up to from chapter 2 to chapter 18, after giving complete instruction, Krishna, now see Krishna's freedom. In which sense, which level of freedom Krishna was operating. He never had any of these, he was free. And then after teaching everything, he tells Arjuna, I have taught what I have to teach you. Now you have the freedom to do what you have to do. You go do what you like. I have told you what I have to. Krishna did not insist you follow what I said. He said, Arjuna, I have taught you. Now you have the freedom to make a decision. You make a decision. Now the teacher, after teaching everything, did not even expect the student to practice, to follow, but yet taught. This is the freedom in which the teacher operates, because the teacher-student relationship is to get this freedom completely. The teacher wants the student to be absolutely free. No teacher, no sensible teacher ever wants a student to be their slave. The teacher would like to see the student independent. The teacher would like to see the student doing better than the teacher. Then the teacher is ideal. So the teacher would like to see student completely free. That's why in the end Krishna gives that total freedom to Arjuna, saying, I have told what I have to tell. I have no expectations. You are not compelled to follow what I have said. You have the freedom. You choose. So in the end, the closing remark is, Arjuna, you have the freedom to choose what you want. That is the freedom of Arjuna. Arjuna also evolved to that point. So this is the freedom which we need. It's a long journey, but let's walk and get to that freedom. It was nice talking to all of you. I once again thank members of Chinmaya Mission Gurudham. Thank you very much, and best wishes for the project which you have in hand of building a beautiful center there. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji, for your very, very inspiring talk. Now I request Shri Ravi Raina ji, who is also a member of the Executive Committee, Gurugram, to formally propose vote of thanks to Swamiji. Ravi Raina ji, please unmute.
Thank you, Swamiji, on behalf of all devotees of Gurugram, for your wonderful and inspiring talk on freedom of Arjuna in the Gyan week being held under the auspices of Chinmaya Mission Gurugram. Swamiji, you have inspired thousands, especially the young minds, to look at the life through the beautiful lens of Vedanta. We thank you once again for your divine words that you have shared with us today, especially how we can overcome attachment, fear, and one thing which I took away a lesson, that change is constant and we have to accept as it is. Thank you for divine word. May you continue to grace with us with your talks and presence always. Hari Om. I hand over to Abaji.
Thank you, Raviji. Now I will conclude today's session with the prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.